Paid off. Credit scores will increase.
WGIV 103.3 FM, the Soul of Charlotte, and welcome to the Icon of Success Show. You're with the money man, Don Blackwell, president of Icon of Success, the ultimate financial education company. Joining me in the studio today is the lovely Lady Diana Morgan, the CEO of Icon of Success. Lady Di, welcome to the show, and start us off with some words of wisdom.
Wow. How about success is no longer a dream, it's your destiny.
I like that destiny thing. I think I've heard that before. In fact, that might actually be our Icon slogan.
It is.
Success is no longer a dream, it's your destiny, because there's something out there you were designed to do. There's something you were supposed to achieve. It's called your destiny. Unfortunately, I don't think most people ever meet their destinies. In fact, they don't even discover their destinies. We often speak about why it's important to have a financial education and achieve wealth and reach your financial goals. In fact, we also do a lot about mentality and mindset, because I see one of the obstacles to those goals is that mentality. And I hate to say it, Donna, but I've seen some messed up mentalities throughout the years. I mean, horrible bad mentalities. So today we want to clear some of that up. In fact, we want to address a simple concern that we get every single day. And I think it goes like this. I get stopped as I'm walking down the street and they say, Don, what exactly do you guys do at Icon of Success?
Yeah.
What do y'all do? In fact, what is Icon of Success? So today we want to give a definition of what we do. In fact, we're going to take it in stages. Today, I want to talk about some of the problems that are in place that we're actually built to address, because there are a lot of problems out there. So Donna, with that, tell us some of those obstacles and help us figure out some of the problems that need to be addressed by Icon.
Okay, well, one of the things I want to answer is the question, who is Icon of Success? Because basically, we are a national membership company that focuses on financial education. That's who we are. So therefore, we believe that the primary obstacle for success today is lack of financial education. Now, understand, Don, I did not say lack of education, because in America, we're educated.
Plenty educated.
Yeah, we're educated. 70% of Americans carry some kind of a degree. But we have an education that is a specific education. Education is subject specific. So when we want to be doctors, we go to medical school. When we want to be lawyers, we go to law school. When we want to sell real estate, we go to real estate school. But where do you go when you want to be wealthy?
And you see, that's the problem, because 70% of people in America do have degrees, but 5% of people in America have figured out how to build wealth, which means that somewhere there's a gap between that degree and your acquiring of wealth. And I think that gap is filled by a bunch of obstacles.
Yes, and one of those obstacles is what we're being taught, and really a lack of what we're being taught, because we're being taught a lot. Okay, we're not ignorant people in America. We're very smart. We are highly educated. We work hard. We're not lazy. Okay, and we have a lot of accomplishments. But for people, which is 95% of the people in America who are struggling in their finances, now that's not to say you're struggling in everything, okay? But people are struggling in their finances. For those people, they need a solution. And at Icon of Success, we offer that solution. You know, I love something. I just want to share this with you, because I just love what I heard from Pastor Tony Evans as I was coming over to the radio station today. I was listening to one of his tapes, and he said something, and I thought, that's it. I just really love that. Pastor Tony Evans said, you have to be educated into atheism. It don't just happen naturally. And it was really funny. He said, you actually have to be either taught evolution or you have to go to college.
And that's the truth.
Because, you know, they do teach a lot of atheism in college, right? And I think most people who've been listening to us over the past year or so, they know that I'm a believer. I'm a Christian. And so I believe in God. All right. And I've never been taught not to believe in God. But when it comes to education, and when it comes to your finances, you have to be educated into poverty. That doesn't just happen naturally. Somebody actually have to tell you that you're limited. Somebody actually have to say to you, you can't be rich. Everybody is not rich. It's not for everybody. We really have to be brainwashed into limiting ourselves and deciding we're not going to try harder. We're not going to do more. We're going to accept where we are. And if poverty is where we are, that's acceptable. We're taught that.
Think about it. How can you get 95% of anything? I mean anything without expressed desire. If I look over at you right now and you were holding up a quarter, if I took 95% of that quarter out of your hand, I had to intentionally plan to do that.
Mm-hmm.
I could steal a nickel maybe, and you might not notice it. But if I take 95% of that quarter, there was a plan.
Yes.
There was a plan to. So
Yes.
95% failed in wealth. There was a plan. You had to be educated to get there to that failure.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody had to put together systems. Systems such as education systems they controlled.
Yeah.
Systems such as tax systems they controlled. Systems such as, give me a couple of others.
Colleges.
Colleges.
The colleges, schools, and universities was built by Carnegie, Vanderbilt, Morgan,
Rockefeller.
and it list goes on and on. The founding financial gurus of our country, and they built our colleges, schools, and universities to create a labor force. They wanted a group of people who would learn how to run their enterprises, how to learn to come out, take jobs, work for them, and build their dynasties.
So I guess they taught them everything in the college except the knowledge base they took to build that college, right?
Exactly. One thing the colleges was not designed to do was to teach you to come out and compete with them.
So they kind of left certain information back.
Oh, definitely. And they refused to teach certain information. Colleges train us. Okay, we call it education. But very few industries actually get a good education in college. College is designed to teach you to do something specific.
Now, one of the funniest things I run across with people when they start a business, etc., is I say, let's take a look at your financial piece. And they'll tell me something like, well, my son went to school. He got a business degree. He takes care of that. You won't learn business and money with a business degree. In fact, it's always been silly to me that a person thinks they can go to college and learn business from a person that has a job that doesn't own a business.
Right.
Because that's not going to happen.
And when I took business in college, I was being taught business by a teacher who had a job.
Yes.
I can personally attest to that.
And consequently, you want to learn business. You have to go out there and talk to somebody that's built business, run business, been through the scrapes and scraps, ran across the scams and scoundrels, and that's what you learn it from.
Amen.
That's right. So
because they come from that.
Hey, so we got to understand how this thing works. Okay, so Icon of Success is who we were talking about. We focuses on financial education. We're a national membership company that focuses on financial education. Now, when you talk about financial education, we see that from a forest standpoint. Okay, we don't look at financial education as a garden, as some people do. People who teach financial education from a garden standpoint, they're going to say, come over here, we can show you how to fix your credit. And that's all they do. Or come over here and we can teach you investment seminars. That's
or
all they do.
Or sell your mortgage.
Yeah. And so they go into our financial advisor. He's just going to talk about stocks and bonds and mutual funds and how you can get access to those. But we don't look at financial education as a gardener. We look at it as a forester. Right, Don?
That's correct. Because a forester understands everything in the forest, including your garden. A forester knows that if you look at your garden and you put some pesticides over by the edge just to kill off the insects, he knows it's going to flow out and mess with some moss just on the other side of that garden that's going to affect the forest.
Yeah.
See, a gardener doesn't care about that. A gardener just cares about his garden and that one little row of peas that he's putting together. The forester looks at the entire forest. So when it comes in finances, folks, I want you to understand every avenue of money in that forest and how they connect together. And when you can do that, and that's what we teach at Icon, to connect those forests together, understand each one, and make them work as a system as the forest is supposed to do.
Yes.
So that's where we're going.
So as a forester, we see that there are two major financial needs in America. One is cash flow. People just don't have enough cash flow. Our goal is to help you generate enough cash flow so that you can live a comfortable lifestyle during your working years. Now, I'm sure that's what you're working for, and I'm sure that's what you want to do.
Yeah, you want to do things like get on vacations. Yeah, I hope you want to live in a house and not walk. So you should be wanting to do these things.
Hope you want air conditioning. Hope you want a heat. And hope you want food, and hope you want clothing, and hope you want the very best of those things, because I do.
And mind you, there's nothing wrong with not wanting those things, but understanding that in not wanting those things, I won't be with you. Just know this.
Don, I know you won't be with me if I ain't got the food now.
Yes, indeed.
I know food got to be there, right?
That's what Mississippi coming out and doing
I
that
love
cooking
some
that
good
you
eating.
do.
But yeah, you got to have that comfortable lifestyle though during your working years. And so that's our goal, is to help you generate enough cash flow so that you can be able to do that, because most people just don't have that extra $3,000, $4,000, or $5,000 a month. You can have your job, and if your job is producing for you $4,000 a month, you need that extra 3, 4, 5 just to live comfortable, because most people spend all their cash flow from their job on necessities. Well, how do you get those things you want? You know, those little vacations and little things you want that makes you comfortable. So our second goal, Don, is to help you generate enough cash flow from assets or wealth for your future, so that you can live your desired lifestyle during your retirement years, because we're talking about now a desired lifestyle. I believe after you worked your entire life that you should have opportunity at the end of your working life to live the way you want to live. Isn't that what it's all about? Isn't that why we go to work? So why do we have these financial advisors, and why do we have financial people who are telling us, counselors who are telling us that we should be downsizing at retirement?
And that's the problem. But you covered one word. You said a weird little word called assets. Let's give a definition of assets, because most people think it's material possessions.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a car. I own this sweater. That's my asset. That's not your asset, folks. Assets are things that put money in your pocket, but there's a qualifier. Things that put money in your pocket that you don't work for. What's making you money when you're not working? Because true to be said, if you have nothing that makes you money when you're not working, can you ever quit working?
No.
You'd be 70 years old, stand down a Chick-fil-A with a sample tray because you cannot quit working. And that sounds funny, but that's actually a real scenario. I saw that in Concord. That lady looked like she was 70 years old. She was rocking back and forth holding that sample tray at Chick-fil-A. And I know that when she was 35, she hadn't planned on being there. The reason she ended up there is because she failed to build something called assets. She had what I call no assets at all. There's no assets at all. If you don't build anything that makes you money when you're not there, you will be 70 years old, standing someplace, greeting somebody in somebody's store. Because it's got to be done.
And once again, we being the icon of financial education, we believe more than just retirement, building assets just for your retirement. Because when we talk about retirement and building assets at Icon of Success, we're talking about financial freedom. We're going beyond replacing the income from your job, because that's what retirement does. It barely replaces the income from your job. Really, that's what it's designed to do. But we're talking about replacing that income from your job and exceeding that, going to the next level of having financial freedom, because life is so much better when you're not worried about money all the time.
And can I cover one more piece just as a side issue? Because I know we went to financial advisors and they told you, man, you need to save up this amount of money, that amount of money. But do you know what they told you to do with that money? They said, Dinah, just live off one piece of it, and it should last long enough for the rest of your life, and it shouldn't run out before you die. But don't live too long.
Yeah.
Because if you live too long, see, that's crazy. Get the asset. You don't touch the principal asset.
Yes.
You live off the return from the asset. The principal asset stays there. So it pays for you up until the day you die. It pays for your children and their children and their children, because the asset yields indefinitely. You're supposed to put that asset in place and not like the financial advisor told you, just live off one piece and hope it doesn't run out or hope you don't live too long.
Now, I know we don't have a lot of time to go into the teaching aspects of Icon of Success, and that's why we have the books, the tapes, the webinars, the seminars, the personal counseling, the coaching calls. We have all of this because it takes time for us to actually teach people how to get wealthy. It's a learned process. It's a learned skill. It don't just happen. It's a learned skill. So it takes time. But I do want to just talk just a little bit about assets, okay? Because assets are things that put money in your pocket, and people don't know what assets are. You would be surprised. When in psychology school, my instructor taught us in Finance 101 that an asset was things you own. Well, I own a ring, all right? I own a car. I own a boat. I own a house. These are things that I own, but they're not putting any money in my pocket, Don. They're taking money out of my pocket. So liabilities take money out of your pockets, and assets are things that put money in your pocket. So we're not going to teach the entire thing today, but just to name a few. Real estate that you rent, lease, or sell. automobiles that you rent, lease, or sell, limousine services, cab services that make you money.
So not the car you're driving
Not
back and
the
forth
car
to work
you're driving
every day.
back and forth to, not the house you're living in that's costing you money
Not
every
even if
day.
it's an expensive car?
No,
Okay.
that's a bigger liability. And then we have utilities. Then there are, I'm sorry, we're talking about assets, not
Yes.
liabilities. You got me on liabilities now. So
How about things in your local bank?
yeah.
That's savings, money
Yeah.
market, CDs. Not a lot of return, but better than
IRA.
zero.
Yeah, better than zero. Then you got stocks and bonds and mutual funds and 401k, 403b, 457k, TSP for military people. And then you've got what? Annuities and whole life policies and variable policies. What else done? Businesses. Businesses, your single largest asset, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
That's going to be your single largest asset. So we're just naming a few, but just about covers them all because there's only 3 categories of assets. There's real properties, businesses, and paper products. So we talk about that at Iconic Success. We name every asset. We teach every asset, how they work, how they're built, how to count them, how to know if they're going to work for you, how to understand them. And that's what we do when we talk about assets. Now, if you don't know what an asset is, you got to buy yourself a bunch of boats and rings and cars and and clothes and shoes, and you think this is your asset and this is going to take care of you when you get old. You're going to have to sell all that stuff off. You're barely going to get a market value, street value for them. And, you're not going to be able to take care of yourself. So it's all in understanding how wealth is built. A lot of people, Don, who have worked jobs earning $50, $60, $70, $80,000 a year for the last 20 years, 30 years, could be very wealthy by now if they understood the fact about how wealth really works. If they knew it and they applied it, there's no reason whatsoever. We guarantee it. If you follow our 5 steps to wealth system, we guarantee you wealth. I would love if we get an opportunity sometime this month, if not today, to talk about some of the successes of people at Iconic Success and some of their testimonies and how they've gone from a working class point to investors to owning real estate to owning businesses to doing very good in life.
Now, one of the things that I see as a problem to many folks is they don't know they're in trouble. They don't know that their situation is actually desperate. They think they just have a minor hiccup along the way. I'm like, dude, you don't have a minor hiccup. So they say, well, I don't need all that y'all teach at Icon. I just need this one thing. No, this one thing begets the next thing, which begets the next thing.
It's a system that works together. Yeah.
All that begetting keeps going. So it's not just one issue you've got. You've got to handle the entire situation, and that means that you have to step up. Then they say, well, Don, I don't have time. Do you know that it took time for you to get in a mess?
Mm-hmm.
A mess did not happen overnight. Being broke did not happen overnight.
Exactly.
It took
40
time.
years to get in your situation, and it's probably going to take at least 4 to get out.
And it takes not
at
going to be
least
politically incorrect,
4 to get out.
but it takes time to develop a high degree of financial ignorance.
Illiteracy, exactly.
I like ignorance.
Yeah.
Because it takes time.
And that's what I was just talking about before, when I said you have to be educated into poverty.
Yes, you do.
Yeah. Because I think we all have opportunity. I think we're born with a good, clear conscience of success, of who I am and what I can do as a person because we were created phenomenally.
That's correct.
That's why you see some phenomenal people because they actually fulfill their purpose. But we were all created to be phenomenal and to be successful. But we get educated into poverty from day one. Okay? We are taught to go get jobs. And it's okay to get the job if that's where you got to start. But there's nothing that teaches us ownership. How to go out, build your own businesses, how to go out and make money. We're taught to spend money, spend money, spend money. There is no talks of making money. I think I was just talking with my family member the other day, and I was saying, how much time do you spend earning money? I spend 80% of my time earning money, 20% of my time spending money, while this family member I know spends 100% of their time spending money. that's going to be a serious issue after a while.
That's going to be a
You're
serious
gonna run
issue
out.
right now.
You're going to run out.
And they're not unique. A lot of people are that way. They can't control money. That's why money becomes an obstacle to them. They don't know how to earn the money. They don't earn it from a job. They don't know how to control it when they get it. They don't know how to make money work for them. They don't know any of that stuff. They just know that I got this money. I got this burning hole in my pocket. I need to spend it on something.
Mm-hmm.
That's all they got is that desire. So money, they never understood.
So how do we get that turned around? That's why you have tuned in to us within the last year or so, and you've heard us talk so much about mentality, because we discovered we can't help people who will not turn around their mentality, who are not willing to be helped, who are not willing to do the things we tell you to do. So we say you need to increase your income, and first. Then you need to get Uncle Sam out of your pocket. You need to understand your tax obligations, and you need to understand how to minimize expenses and eliminate your debt, accelerate your investments. And we tell them that they're going, and they're not really taking us serious because they don't have the right type of mentality to receive that. They can't see it. They can't believe it. Therefore, they're not going to receive it.
So I guess before all of that comes into place, you have to put a mentality called humility.
Yeah.
In fact, when I first started learning money, I knew that I knew absolutely nothing about money. I was so embarrassed I wouldn't even talk when the lady did the presentation for me. I just stared at her for 30, 45 minutes because that's how embarrassed I was.
Wow.
Well, I knew then that my talking didn't help me none because I knew zero.
Mm-hmm.
So it's time for me to shut up and listen.
It's time to listen because your best thinking had already gotten you where you were.
My best thinking had sank the Titanic. It was down. Okay, it wasn't coming back up because I was struggling every single pay period. You feel good, you get a check, you see $600, $700, $800 a week coming in, and all of a sudden you're saying, yeah, I got some money, I got some relief. Don't you know that I had $900 worth of obligations each week?
Wow.
So each week I was, as one of our members said, I was hustling backwards. And the hustling backwards would kick your hustling butt. So I was kicking my hustling butt.
Yeah.
So I knew that for me to be able to learn something, I had to shut up and listen. That's old school. See, old school, we were taught to, if you don't know, shut up.
Yeah, and learn something.
If you're ignorant, shut up and nobody knows. If I could teach that to new people these days, because they take pride in ignorance. I don't need all that knowledge stuff. I'm like, what? Just shut up in the corner. You look pretty a second ago. Just stay there. Say nothing.
Well, there's certain arenas I get in right now. I'm not the leader. And I say that all the time. There's a lot of arenas I get in. I am not the leader, although I'm a self-learned person, and I try to learn everything that I'm interested in. But get into certain arenas, you could start talking about medicals, and you start talking about law and things like that, and I'm the student. Now, before we conclude today, but I know we're going to be picking up on this next week.
Oh, yeah.
Probably all
what
month
we're
long.
supposed to cover.
We're going to be talking about this because, we need to know what's going on, what's available, what's out there, and definitely who we are as owners and founders of Icon of Success. I want to give an invitation. Okay, you don't have to wait to hear this information throughout the rest of the month. Plus, there's just only so much we can extend to you on this side of the fence. You really got to get on that other side and start learning and start spending weeks and months into developing your financial skills. So we want to give you an invitation to join us, to come out for free on tonight to our free wealth overview. Free wealth overview that is tonight at 7 p.m. It is going to be held at the Office Suites Plus. That is where our corporate office is located. The address is 1914 J.N. Pease Place, P-E-A-S-E Place, Charlotte, North Carolina 28262. The address again is 1914 J.N. Pease Place, Charlotte, North Carolina 28262. You do not have to call us to come. You can come without calling. It is at 7 o'clock. It is open to the public, and we're going to be doing a free wealth overview. It is near the corner of W.T. Harris and Mallard Creek in the university area. It's right behind the road. JMP's place is right behind the little small Wells Fargo branch near the corner of W.T. Harris and Wells Fargo and Mallard Creek.
And you can also reach us if you have any questions or you get lost or confused. We can be reached at 980-939-1977. That's 980-939-1977. Because, folks, unless you do something to change, nothing changes.
Yes.
If your life is in a mess, change.
I always say make time to make a change.
And if you don't make a change and make a change in you, because it's going to make a change one way or the other. The question is, will you be prepared for it? Have you done what it took to be prepared for it? If it's in a mess, don't walk, run to the person that can get you out of that mess. And don't run with an attitude. Walk in with humility, because I had to be humble for the first several years in business.
Mm-hmm.
Walk in with humility because you're there to receive something. You won't receive it if you're trying to overtalk them.
Yes.
So let them teach you what they're supposed to teach you. You be a sponge and soak it up as fast and as hard as you possibly can.
Trust
and
us.
come back and apply it in your life like it's supposed to be.
Yes.
And you will systematically see your life improve.
Mm-hmm.
You systematically see all those obstacles you've got leave. You systematically take control of all the financial tables around you. You'll become the head, not the tail. So get there, folks. Give us a call, 980-939-1977. That's 980-939-1977. Down, and we'll pick back up again on this next week. Our time is up. The Money Man is out.
Thanks for tuning in to the Icon of Success Show with Money Man Don Blackwell. For more information on Icon of Success, call 980-939-1977. That's 980-939-1977. Or visit iconofsuccess.com. And remember, success is no longer your dream, it's your destiny.